it going? So, good evening. Nice to be here. The weather is actually quite nice compared to where I come from, or where I studied. Today, I'd like to talk about data visualization. I'd like to bring up the fact that I hear a lot of things about data visualization. On one end, I hear that data visualization is going to be completely automated. Data visualization is going to be dead in a few years. Data mining is becoming a norm. You have a lot of artificial intelligence. You have a lot of machine learning. A lot of people say that who's going to draw a bar graph anymore? Who's going to draw a simple line graph? It's just going to be automated. Do you need one guy sitting and doing a boring, uninteractive bar graph? Maybe not. And on the other hand, I hear people say that you have so much data out there. You have so much potential for data visualization. You have so much potential for making things more interactive. So there's a disconnect. There's almost a disconnect between what people say, how automated things are going to be versus on the other side. Very interesting. How many of you have seen this visualization? Show of hands. This was very interesting when I first saw this visualization by Cameron Beccaria on the wind visualization and the wind patterns across the world. Very interesting. I remember back in 2012, I saw another visualization by Fernando Vegas and Martin Wettenberg, wind patterns in the United States, updated almost real time to the hour. And I was thinking to myself, going through design school, I had learned a lot of things. I had learned design methodology, I had learned lateral thinking, design thinking, cognitive behavior, how do you work with different contexts, how do you work with different fields. But it was amazing to me looking at this visualization, how science, how data, how biology, how are these different, totally different, unrelated per se fields affecting design methodology and vice versa. It was very, very interesting to me. And I really wanted to think a lot about this. I wanted to do some research in this area. So the most logical thing to me was to move to Amsterdam. No, I'm kidding. I came down to the media lab at MIT and I invented a system. Think of it as Uber, but with buses. You have the ability to sit inside your house, request a bus that comes to pick you up. You don't have to go to the bus stop, you don't have to walk anywhere else. You have the control, the bus comes to you to pick you up. But that's not, it's just an on-demand bus. We wanted to create something more. We wanted to discourage people to leave their cars behind at home and take the bus. So imagine a system where you could change your mind inside the bus and the bus reroutes itself real time. That's what we built. We demoed it, we had an algorithm, it functions really well, it was great. One of the biggest challenges I think we faced was the immense amount of data that we had to deal with. Now when I conceptualized this project, when I worked with, when I put together a team, this wouldn't have been possible without the great team I had. We never for a minute thought that the most important part of this would be to deal with the data. We thought the algorithm, the AI platform that we needed to build, that was the most important thing, which it was. But there was so much data out there, so much. There was millions, thousands and thousands of data points that we had to deal with. So much data. Now, I remember we had to look at how many people are in this city, who is going to use this service, what directions are they going in, where are they going, why are they going, are they going to work, where are they traveling to, what time are they coming back home, what is their purpose of visit, what time of the day are they going somewhere, how long are they going to be at whatever destination they're going to, what are people doing, what is the economic level of these people. Who is going to use this service? How much are they going to pay for this service? Am I targeting only one specific audience? If I'm targeting people who are going to work, once they finish going to work, what am I going to do? Or once they are at work, Am I going to have this service functioning? Where are these people going? Where are the other people going to go? Are there any points of interest in the city? Are there any arterial roads that we can use? Is there any rule? So much data, so many data points. It's very interesting. So user experience design. As we were going through this project, we had to build a machine learning tool to help us with the data, to feed all this data inside this tool to help facilitate and understand what this data actually means. So coming back, user experience, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Now, when I say artificial intelligence, I'm not going to talk about robots today that we might have to fight with to take over the world. I'm not going to talk about that. But what I mean by artificial intelligence is the AI that exists in a lot of products today. Your search engines, your phones, your tablets. There is a lot of things that you touch and feel on a day-to-day basis today that has artificial intelligence. A lot of products coming out. A lot of products that already exist. Artificial intelligence is proliferating a large part of everybody's life. The most important thing for us to understand is artificial intelligence, is it shaping the context of the user? And what is its effect on user experience? Very important to understand. Let me take a very simple example. We don't even pay attention to this anymore. Predictive text. Does anybody care about whether a phone has predictive? All phones have it now. Nobody gives a nickel for it. It is what it is. But this is a very interesting example. It is a form of AI. It is a form of natural language processing. It's predicting what you might type next or auto-completing the word for you. So the instrumental use of AI is that you have a model of the user goals, and AI is predicting the next course of user actions. That's very interesting. So in this case, we are actually talking about predicting what the next word might be. Let me give you another example. Your news feed on Facebook, which is active artificial intelligence. What I mean by active artificial intelligence, a system that is motivating me to act a certain way, encouraging me to like something, dislike something. Explaining that maybe I've done a search online for cats. No, I'm allergic to cats. Maybe I'm doing a search online for dogs, adopting dogs. I come onto Facebook, I see all these ads, I see a lot of things that motivate me. Maybe I find something interesting, maybe I do adopt my next pet, maybe I do. In that case, this platform is encouraging me, not only me, but also a beneficiary. It's twofold. It's encouraging two people at the same time. Netflix, another very beautiful example. When you start using Netflix for the first time, you have a simple questionnaire that you fill up, your likes and dislikes, and you go through and you start watching TV shows. As you start watching, there are some TV shows that you may like, there might be some movies that you stop watching in the middle, there might be some you don't see at all, and the system is continuously learning from you. The choices you see on screen are based on the actions you take. So I might like mushy romantic movies and not horror movies, so I'm not going to see a list of Conjuring and other movies out there. Maybe I see things that my palate, what I like. What do you think would be a smarter next step for Netflix? Can they understand what my emotions are as I'm watching a TV show? Is it possible for them to understand, can they understand my reaction? Am I happy watching a TV show? Am I sad? Am I scared? You have a company called Affideva. It's it's the only company that has the largest database of emotional analytics in the world today. Very interesting company. It was a startup from the Media Lab, where I spent a lot of my time. And they have a very interesting concept called the AFDEX score. Aftex score is an innovative way to assess content in relation to emotions. So today, the Aftex score, the technology from Affettiva, you can run it through your webcams. So as I'm watching a sports game, as I'm watching a TV show, a political debate, am I laughing? Am I crying? Am I scared? The system is recognizing continuously what is my happiness level, what is my sadness, what is my fear, and then putting it into a score. And this is extremely useful. It's happening today. This is extremely useful for gauging how people are reacting to a political debate or a sports game. This is happening today, by the way. Very interesting. Maybe this is something as a part of Netflix tomorrow. As I'm watching a TV show, today you might have, sometimes when a TV show ends, you might have 2-3 different endings. And they let the audience decide what do you want to, pick whatever ending you want. Maybe this platform can help me gauge what the ending is actually going to be, depending on what my reaction is. Another very nice example by Martin Weinberg and Fernando Viegas. It's called Unfiltered. Very beautiful example, very simple visualization. They take the news feeds from different parts of the world. You are obviously in control. You can filter this by country, by genre, by topic. Very, very interesting. Very interesting, and very interesting use of the platform. Now, there was a beautiful article I read by Patrick Van Hoff, and I wanted to put together this list on what I think the next challenge is and what I think user experience needs to be involved with. So mathematics. There's so much data, as I've mentioned. I think as designers, it's extremely crucial and important to be a part of the data mining, data statistic process. It's extremely important. Yes, designers are already on the ground, talking with people, doing the qualitative and quantitative research, but it's also very important to analyze that data. It's very, very important to go through that data and then pull insights from that data. Let me give you an example. A beautiful research study by Yu Zheng at Microsoft, where he looked at the noise levels in New York City. Now, I think that you have a number 311 that anybody at New York can call and say that there's a large amount of noise. And this data was collected for so many years. So what he did was he built a database. He pulled data from 2010 to 2014. He put it on the cloud now and made it very interactive. Now anybody can go through and say that, okay, what is the noisiest part of the city? Why is it the noisiest part of the city? When is it going to end? Should I move here? Should I travel through this area? Very interesting. A lot of math, a lot of data. Psychology. As conversations become, or as digital interactions become more conversational, digital interactions, we need to relearn how people interact with one another. It might sound a little bit bizarre, but we need to learn it all over again. Very important. Now, when I design a UI interface, when I design a website today, there are certain elements I might place at certain parts of my screen. This is me knowing what the end goal is, and there's a rationale for what I'm doing. I'm not simply putting things on screen. Now, if I ask my wife to remind me of something at 2 a.m. or at 2 p.m., the way she would do it at 2 a.m. possibly is different from the way she would do it at 2 p.m. At least I would expect so. And I, as a human being, am more forgiving for this human-to-human interaction. But when it comes to an AI platform or a tool that a product in my house, if it's going to remind me the same way at 2 p.m. and at 2 a.m., then I'm going to be very less forgiving to this. I don't want the system, I want the system to recognize, did I have a long day at work? Did I have a very busy day? Did I have a drink? Am I sleepy? Am I already sleeping? If you're going to remind me the same way throughout the day, you lost that connection. So as a designer, it's extremely important for me to understand that context, that connection, the end user, the path. Very interesting. So Seth Stevens came up with this very nice visualization about diet in the United States. How does diet vary around Thanksgiving holiday? Just spikes up, it's crazy. Depression. How does depression matter in the United States? As society, I think AI systems will shape society tomorrow. They will shape a lot of things in society. So it's important for us, and for me as a designer, to understand sociological parameters, tactics, strategies, importance, to build better AI systems and better machine learning systems. Another example by Yu Zhang, he looks at air pollution. A lot of BRIC countries today have this problem, polluted cities. And they are doing a lot on recording this data and communicating with their citizens, but it's very expensive. Again, understanding your context, understanding societies, building a platform that can pull more information from everything that's out there and communicate better to people. Only if I understand that can I build better systems to help people. Biology. You have a lot of designers working with biologists to synthesize DNA, synthetic biology. And then you have artists and architects and designers creating living envelopes or organisms that could cover their buildings, products. So again, as a designer, it's not about me creating products that feel good in your hand anymore. Again, something I need to relearn. It's about me creating products with living systems so they become more smarter. Again, something for me to relearn, for us to relearn. An example by Jenny Sabins called the eSkin project. It's very interesting because it looks at the nano and macro scales based on human cell behavior. Very, very interesting. I encourage everybody to look this up. Linguistics. As a designer, it's very important for me to understand sign language. It's very important for me to understand facial expressions. It's important for me to understand how it varies between demographics, how it varies between contexts. It's important for me to understand that. Why is it important for me to understand that? Because the most important part of data visualization today is your ability to drill down that data. Can I start at any visualization, go down into the details? Can I understand what the details are? Can I be more interactive? Can I be more hands-on with the data? It's not about automating this process. It's about being more hands-on with the process. I think as a user, it's very important for you to be able to start at any given point and go to any given point you want with the data. Another beautiful example at Microsoft called the Sundance Project by Stephen Ducker and Roland Fernandez. And I want to show you this very small video.
Today, we're a data-driven society, data-driven companies. Data drives all of our lives. And being able to understand that data and find kind of gems of insight in that data, and even more, being able to communicate effectively with data is more important today than it's ever been. Having tools that help people do that, that's, I think, one of the big challenges that we face right now. Sundance is a data visualization system that lets people explore data, find insights in that data, and communicate those insights with others. There's a great data set that looks at demographic information in the United States. It looks at the levels of education, income in all the counties. Typically, you'd think that the greater the education you have in a county, the more income there would be in the family. And that's often true. That's the overall trend. But I found this kind of weird outlier, and the highest education, at least according to the percentage of the people that had a bachelor's degree or more, actually had a very low income level. I looked at where it was, and it was Stanford, California. And it kind of made sense that they were working on their higher degrees and not getting paid much. But then I looked at other outliers that were just like that. It turns out that every single one of these places that had high education levels but low income, every one of them was a college town. 20 of them, all these points, they're all out there. And I thought that was really interesting. I never would have looked at before, but when I saw the pattern in the data, I found that. A lot of the people that look at data visualization systems tend to be data analysts, but I think there's a much wider audience out there. I think that people that are fans of kind of understanding patterns in society and looking at economic trends or political trends or anything really. I think there's a very wide audience that can take these applications if they're made easy enough and compelling enough.
So I think the point was that the platform is open source, and it's an example of showing you how important it is to drill down. It's how important it is to be more interactive and hands-on. So it's very easy for me to start with the world map and jump to a bar graph and drill down to a pie chart and then understand a KPI and then come back, zoom out, go back to the map and play with this, be more hands-on with it. So I think it's very important for data visualization not to just be a visualization. Data visualization is not about just the visualization, but what is the purpose? I think data visualization creates a lot of understanding, it creates a lot of transparency, which require trust. So it is important for me to understand that we could deliver a machined automated response to a lot of things, a system to a lot of things. It may not be fully accurate. It may be an optimization. It could be. But there will always be that question from the user, the why, the question why and the how. When I have a question why and how, generally the most apt answer to that would be with a visual or tactile component. And as long as we have a visual and tactile component, it's very interesting for the designer. So the question becomes, again, coming back to data. I think as important as it is to compose that data, to collect all that data, to be more hands-on with that data, it is also extremely important for us, everybody, including the designer, to decompose that data. To go into that data and say that, you know what, I've collected this much data, I need to break it apart. It might seem futile, but it's extremely important. After collecting all that information, why go in and break it apart? Because you need to understand it, you need to be a part of it. Being a part of breaking up that data is very different from being a part of collecting it. It's extremely important for us as a user to address the needs of that user or needs that don't even exist yet. And it's very important for the designer to be a part of this process. So I would say do not treat machine learning as a black box. And I know I get a lot of slack from people in machine learning for saying that. But I think pulling apart data is very important for design. It's extremely important. And this was the key lessons I, as a designer, learned in my invention. To create a system is not about solving just the technical challenges. I think as a designer, we need to become more hybrid than the field already is. Thank you very much.